All right, let's talk passports. If you're planning on going anywhere internationally, you know that little book is everything. But getting one has a new step these days, and it's all about the photo. Today, we're digging into the big choice everyone has to make now. Do you take your own photo at home with an app, or do you go to a professional in person? Let's get into it.
Yep, you heard that right. For what felt like forever, the process was a no-brainer. You went to a drugstore and got your picture taken. But now, especially with online renewals becoming so common, the whole game has changed. You've got two totally different paths to choose from, and we're going to figure out which one is the right one for you.
So first up, let's talk about the modern route, the do-it-yourself, at-home method. This is all about using the technology you already have, yep, in your pocket, to get a government-approved photo without even putting your shoes on.
So what exactly is an online passport photo service? Well, think of it like having a tiny photo expert right on your phone. It's an app or a website that uses some pretty smart AI to guide you. You snap a selfie, and the AI checks it against all the official rules. It crops it, it checks the size, and makes sure everything is just right. And the process itself? It's ridiculously simple. You just find a plain white wall, snap a quick picture, and upload it. The service's AI does all the heavy lifting, checking the head size, the lighting, all that technical stuff. And then, bam! Just a few moments later, you can download a perfectly compliant digital photo ready to go.
And the perks are pretty awesome. I mean, the convenience is just unbeatable. You can literally do this at midnight in your pajamas. Don't like how you look in the first shot? No problem. Just take another one and another one. It's usually free for unlimited retakes. Some of these services can even automatically fix small shadows or clean up the background for you. And the best part? You get the file instantly.
But hold on, it's not all perfect. There are some real downsides. The single biggest risk is just you messing it up. If the lighting in your living room is terrible, your photo could easily get rejected. You also have to watch out for apps that sneak in subtle filters or beauty modes. Those are a huge no-no. And of course, you're uploading your face to a service, so you gotta make sure it's one you can trust with your data.
Okay, now let's flip the script and talk about the other option, the one we all grew up with. This is the classic in-person professional service. You know, the tried and true method.
We're talking about the photo services you see at places like CVS, Walgreens, maybe a FedEx store, or even some post offices. You just walk in and a clerk who's been trained to do this handles the entire thing for you.
The process here is just as simple, but you're not the one doing the work. You show up at the store, the clerk gets the professional lighting and camera all set up, they snap the picture, and then they check it right there on the spot to make sure it's perfect. You walk out the door with physical printed copies in your hand.
The biggest selling point here? It's all about peace of mind. They have the right gear, the right lighting, and the person taking the photo actually knows the government's rules. You get your physical prints immediately, which is great if you're applying by mail, and honestly, you don't have to be tech savvy at all.
So, what's the catch? Well, you actually have to go somewhere, and you might have to wait in line. It's also way more expensive. And get this, if you blink or just hate the photo, you might have to pay the full price all over again for a retake. Plus, getting a digital copy for an online application isn't always part of the deal.
All right, we've seen both paths. Now for the fun part. Let's put them side by side in a head-to-head showdown and really see how they stack up on the stuff that actually matters.
And wow, when you see them laid out like this, the differences really pop. First, look at the cost. Online is around $5 to $10, while in-person can easily be double that. For time, you're talking maybe 10 minutes at home versus a whole trip to the store that could take half an hour. And that retake policy is a huge deal, free online versus paying all over again. For pure convenience, there's just no contest. Let's just zero in on that cost for a second, because it's a big one. On average, you're spending maybe $5, maybe $10 for an online service. Compare that to $15, sometimes $20 at a store. I mean, we're talking about the in-person method being 2 or even 3 times more expensive sometimes. You can basically skip a whole trip to the store for less than the price of a fancy coffee.
But here's the million-dollar question. Do they actually work? How accurate are they? Well, the best online services have a compliance rate of about 85 to 95%. The AI is fantastic at catching things like head size and background color. But what it can't fix is you taking a photo in a dark room. That little gap, that 5 to 15% failure rate, is almost always because of user error.
Now, compare that to in-person photos. They have a slightly higher success rate, somewhere between 95 and 100%. And that little edge comes from one thing, a human being. It's that trained clerk making sure the lighting is perfect and your face is neutral before they even press the button.
That professional check is what makes the difference.
So, after all that, what's the verdict? How in the world do you choose which path is right for you? Well, let's break it down so you can make that final call. Okay, let's make this super simple. You should probably go with the online option if you're renewing your passport online anyway. If you're pretty confident in your phone's camera, and you've got a bright room, and if you really care about saving time and money. On the other hand, you should stick with the in-person method if you're applying the old-fashioned way by mail, if you just want a professional to handle it, or if you need those printed photos in your hand right this second.
But here's the bottom line, and maybe the most important thing to remember. At the end of the day, the government doesn't care where your photo came from. They don't care if you took it in your kitchen or at a Walgreens. All they care about is if it meets their super strict rules for lighting, size, background, and your expression. A good photo is a good photo, period.
And there you have it. 2 clear paths to getting that perfect passport photo. And each one has its own pros and cons. One gives you amazing convenience and saves you money, while the other gives you that tried and true professional guarantee. The choice is all yours. So which path are you going to take to kick off your next big adventure?